Hello everybody and welcome to EVE Online. My name's Parabuteo and today we're going to be taking a look at the new Rogue Drone Swarm event that CCP has added to the game for June. Now they said this content's available for alpha players to have a go at, so I've logged on my alpha clone after many years being away and we're going to have a look. Now the best ships to tackle this event in are cruisers, which cost around about 10 to 12 million ISK fitted, with basic fittings on the market today. So I'm just doing a little spot of mining to gather the ISK. Of course you don't want to watch me do this for hours, so we'll just skip ahead. But for new players, if you are just starting out, a really good way to get a decent amount of ISK relatively quickly is to use this venture mining frigate, which is available through some of the career campaigns that are offered to you at the beginning of the game. Of course you could also do the military arcs and the epic mission arcs, which will get you a destroyer quite happily, and start you making money doing missions for NPCs if you don't fancy mining. But if you want to just chill out and watch some asteroids disappear for a little while, you could do worse than do some mining. But anyway, we'll just skip ahead and I'll get a cruiser all fitted out for us. Okay, so here we are in Mar, which is the second busiest trade hub in EVE after Jita, but the area around Amar is typically less busy in high sec, so I was more likely to find drone swarms here, which is why I picked to come out to Amar. And yeah, I've got my shiny new Caracal. All those hours of mining on the venture paid off. I actually got killed by NPC pirates in 0.6 security space while I was mining. Turns out some of the Grista's rats are quite tough if you've only got basic drones. But even so, with the venture was mining out more ore per run than it was worth, even with the faction mining lasers on. Because it turns out that Galente faction mining lasers only cost a few hundred credits. But yeah, so this fit cost me about 15 million ISK in total. And we'll just quickly go through it. So the high slots are all experimental SV2000 rapid light missile launchers. You don't have to go exactly for these because these are quite expensive. You could go for a cheaper alternative, but these have a relatively high meta level, so meta level 3, and the meta level shows you how good a particular item is. So a basic rapid light missile launcher would be meta level 1 and is slightly worse than this, so it does slightly less sort of damage, and also it has slightly bigger fitting requirements, so it will take more CPU and more power grid to fit. But these aren't too expensive, so you should be able to afford these pretty well. But the rapid light missile launchers are going to form the bulk of your offensive punch. You could go for regular light missile launchers because they don't take... Well, I wouldn't recommend light missile launchers on this size of chassis because really you should be fitting sort of cruiser-sized missiles if you're going to do that. But the problem is with the target size of the drone swarms, heavy missiles aren't going to be that effective. So you could go for regular light missiles, but the amount of damage you'll be doing is going to be very low for a cruiser-sized hull. So I'd recommend doing that on one of the destroyers if you're going to go for that. The only problem with the rapid light missile launchers is that they take 35 seconds to reload, and they've only got 19 rounds per reload, so you're going to chew through them very quickly, and you might have to be very careful when you reload, because it can take more time for you to reload than it will to clear a wave of rats, so we'll see that later most likely. But yeah, the mid slots are more interesting. This is what's going to keep you alive in there. We've got a 10 meganewton SY8 compact afterburner. Again, I've picked this because it's got a decent meta level. Again, it's very cheap. You could just have an afterburner one if you wanted to, but these don't require any extra skills to utilise, so you might as well if you've got the ISK. And then For this one, we have some deflection shields, so we've got explosive deflection shield and kinetic deflection shield because they deal explosive and kinetic damage specifically. If you were going to go and mission with this Caracal, you would really look up what the mission is that you're going to do before you accept it, and you could switch these out for different damage resistances depending on what they were dealing. And then we have some shield extenders. I'm using large shield extenders because this alpha account is pretty much maxed out in skills. But you don't have to use large shield extender 2s. I expect that they're not going to be able to break through your shields at all really with this kind of fit. So you can fit shield extender 1s quite easily, although you'd probably want a meta level one just so that your fitting doesn't get really tight. Down in the low, we've got damage control, just for emergencies, in case your shields fail and you do find yourself in armour or, God forbid, into structure. This will potentially save your life as you're trying to warp out, but really, if your shields fail or they look like they're going to fail, you should just warp out with this. You shouldn't stick around. And then we have ballistic control systems, which are just going to increase the effectiveness of our missiles. They are quite useful. Especially because the drone sites, anyone can warp in and attempt to steal your kill, so you want to do quite a lot of damage. And in the rig slots, we've got 2 field extenders and 1 field purger. The reason being, the field purger will increase the rate our shield regenerates, and the field extenders will increase the number of hit points. But each rig you have, no, it doesn't actually have any drawbacks. I just fitted it because I wanted to. You could fit 3 extenders quite happily, and you'd have similar effects. Alternatively, if you're finding that your shields aren't taking any damage at all, you could fit a missile rig in here and just do more damage with your missiles because they are going to be doing the bulk of your damage. Now, for drones, we've got 2 Acolyte ones. The rogue drones are weak to EM, which is why we've got Acolytes, because they deal EM damage. I wouldn't recommend these for general purpose drones because they're kind of slow and they don't do a huge amount of damage per shot. I'd recommend either the Hobgoblins, which do the most amount of damage of any drone, well, any light drone, but they do thermal damage, or I'd recommend the Mimitar Warrior. I'd always recommend warriors for PvP because they're the fastest and they have the fastest tracking, although their damage is low. But obviously, if your drones are very slow, they aren't going to do any damage whatsoever. But the Acolytes for the rogue drones I'd recommend because they go through their weakest resistance of EM. And finally, after that, you'll want to buy Mjolnir light missiles, which do EM damage. Now, this may obviously seem a little bit interesting, since that no, they changed it. Okay, in which case it's great because the Caracal, I believe, used to have a bonus to kinetic missile damage, but now it just has a bonus basically to maximum range and rate of fire. So. And actually, these don't have any bonuses whatsoever for the kinds of missile launcher we're using. So, what does it? It might do actually. It might have that might. Yes. So this will help with our rapid light missile launcher, which is really cool. But it's not tied into any specific damage type anymore, and it used to be a damage bonus, but that's been taken away, and now it's rate of fire and range bonuses, although rate of fire is a DPS bonus, so that's still a very good bonus to have. And because the drones are weak to EM, and you can have missiles that do EM damage, you want to be firing EM missiles. And yeah, that's pretty much it. The Caracal is probably the best one for Caldari. You could go with a mower with railguns or blasters, but I think you'll have more fun with the Caracal here. So we'll just get undocked and we'll get underway. You'll notice on the fitting screen as well that it says that it's cap stable here. That means that you're not going to have to worry about running out of capacitor when you're using all of your modules all at once. Although you might get warnings if you're trying to warp long distance over a solar system, because that will drain your the rest of your capacitor. Anyway, we'll get flying and we'll see if we can find some rogue drone swarms. Yeah, here we are. We're warping to one now. You'll see them in your overview as rogue swarm. Make sure you've got your hardeners on first, otherwise you might be in for a nasty surprise in a minute. Okay, this one's already in use, so we'll go to the next system. Unfortunately, this is something that's going to happen a lot in HiSec.
Drive active.
I don't fancy trying to steal his loot because that'll kill me horribly. This looks promising.
Warp drive active.
There are 5 people in local, but there are more swarms in local than there are players, which is something I've not seen before, but this means we should strike lucky. And what we're looking for is the accelerators. One of those will pay off this entire ship and will make the trip worthwhile. Okay, so this one looks like it's uncontested. Yep. So here we go. Now you want to start flying roughly towards where they spawned in. Launch drones, lock targets. Again, make sure your shields are up, and we want to get our speed up because they're not going to be able to hit us quite so much if we're moving. And okay, they're melting quite quickly, which is excellent. Unfortunately, there's a long reload on these rapid lights, so you don't want to waste any ammunition at all if you can possibly help it. Now we're going to orbit one of these wrecks, and there'll be more warping in. There they are. Obviously, ships are invulnerable in warp. Drones are already fighting, which is excellent. And because they're doing EM damage, they're going through the ships quite quickly. I'll reload while the drones are going to finish off the last one. And there will be another wave of small stuff and then the boss. So these are all destroyers and frigates, and as you can see they're doing very little damage to us. But this reload is very, very long, and you don't really want to be caught on a reload on the final wave because that's when somebody else could warp in and take your hard-earned loot. Right, they've landed, engaging. So these small triangles are frigates, triangles with the lines underneath the destroyers, and then this is the bigger one, it's a cruiser. And we want to hit the frigates first with just a couple of missiles each. Yep. Cruiser's going to take a little more. Oop, we wasted a missile there. And now the destroyer should go down quite quickly. You see it has a larger signature, but not a lot of tank. Okay, we'll hold fire there, and we should have more than enough ammunition to deal with the boss when he shows up. Drones will finish him in a couple of seconds. Now, we easily have enough tank that we could probably drop one of these shield extenders and put a warp structure on if we wanted to. So if someone did try and come in and steal our stuff at the end, we could have a go at trying to attack them. And we'll just hit approach on him straight away. Lock target, ready the weapons. And here we go. But yes, if you do engage another player that's stolen your cargo, be very wary because they'll be very the chances are they'll be fishing for people to attack them so that they can kill them. And the Caracal is quite good because anything in a frigate or destroyer hull should have a pretty hard time, as long as it's not a Tech 3 destroyer dealing with your rapid lights. But even so, take exceptional care because they are quite good at PvP, the people that will be fishing for it. And it goes without saying that if you are thinking of engaging at all, make sure that you regularly put your loot in the station, just in case you come completely a cropper. And I've misjudged the amount of missiles I've needed because this guy's a battle cruiser, so he's a little bit tougher. He's not doing a huge amount of damage to us still, in fact virtually none. Yeah, he is just missing us, but these rapid lights are taking a long time to reload, which is a little. And now he's going to go down very quickly. Okay, there we go. Now his wreck's the only one that's going to have stuff in it, so just approach the wreck when you're within 2.5 kilometers. You loot it all, and we've got a PLEX, which is really nice. Oh, and we have one of these as well, the accelerator, which will accelerate your skill training, and they cost about 13 million ISK on the market at the moment, which is fantastic. That means that this trip has already been worth it on the first sight. Now we're going to carry on and do the rest of these ones in the system if there's nobody here, and we'll see how much we can make just from this one system. But already, if we sell this, then we'll have made our money back for the Caracal quite happily. We have the Munin skin, although the skins are not going to be very expensive. 300,000 ISK, because the market's been flooded and saturated with them, and the skins aren't too important. Okay, so this site's been done.
Warp drive active.
I imagine the rest of these are going to be contested in this system now. But even so, that was a pretty good first sight. We've got approximately 15 million ISKs worth of loot, and this ship cost approximately that to fit out, so we're already ISK neutral. Okay, here's another one that hasn't been contested yet, although there are people active in the system, so we want to get going as quickly as possible. So once again, launch drones as soon as possible, lock them up, start approaching them, because that's where they're all going to spawn in. Just start firing away as soon as possible. If you're using the setup I have, these have a range of about 44 kilometers. Oop, I wasted a volley of missiles there, that's not too helpful. 2 volleys. Okay. Just orbit one of these wrecks. The afterburner on to keep our transversal up, because they won't be able to track us so well. I don't believe these drones will target our drones that are in space. However, on the final wave, there is a chance of them spawning lots of small drones of about the same size as the drones you're fighting with, and they can attack your drones. so be careful. Two volleys. Third volley. One volley. That was pretty impressive. Drones engage that target. And we'll deal with him. So yeah, juggling your reload timer with the rapid light missiles is a little bit interesting because they don't carry that much ammunition. Okay, so there are two cruiser-sized hulls here. So this might be a bit interesting for our missile situation here, and there is a swarm of drones. Like I said, there may be. We'll just have to watch our health of our drones down here. If it starts to drop, we'll recall them, and then wait until we have the aggression from all of these small drones. You don't have to kill these drones to make the next wave spawn. They do provide a little bit more money and bounties, but frankly it's not really worth it unless you're extremely low on ISK. Okay, so the overmind spawned. We'll get our drones to attack him while we reload. We want to kill him as quickly as possible before another player shows up. Guns almost reloaded. And now we'll start hammering me. Now, as you can see, all of these have gone red, so they're attacking us. They shouldn't transfer their targets to us like that. It's interesting. And now we've got another skin. Now our drones will just go and attack these rogue drone swarmers. Well, as you can see, they're orbiting and they are hitting us constantly, whereas the other drones found it much harder to hit us. So this is a point where if you've swapped out your shield extenders for something else, you might find that you're having a little bit of difficulty if you're not actively engaging the rogue drone swarms. There are quite a lot of these things. yeah, one volley of missiles to each will quite happily dispatch them. Obviously, if you've got the potential loot, rats appearing, you don't really want to be wasting your munitions on these. And our drones should finish him off momentarily. And so we'll reload. Okay, there's one last drone swarm in system.
Active.
And we are very quickly running out of capacitor here. It says it should be stable, so I don't know why it was giving us that warning. I think it's because the capacitor is stable at a very low level with this fitting, and warping with low skills, which unfortunately will be enforced with an alpha clone. Warping long distance could take a significant chunk of your capacitor, and you could have some warnings pop up. Yeah, okay, so there's someone here in a coercer. So yeah, if someone appears and stole your loot in one of these, you could probably kill them in this ship. But you know, it's not for the faint of heart.
Warp drive active.
So there we have it. Single system, 2 rogue drone swarms, and although it says the estimated price here is only 2 million ISK, this will sell for about 14 million ISK on the market. And so we've already paid for our cruiser, which makes this a really good way of making a small amount of money for new alpha players. Of course, if you haven't trained up quite so many skills, you could quite happily do it in the destroyer, as you saw back there. You could be flying one of those in a couple of days, whereas a cruiser like this would probably take about a week to train up to fly. Cool, there are 2 in this system. Try out the first one. Partners on. I do like the change they've made to the Caracal. It looks a lot sleeker than it used to, and changing configuration in warp flight is quite nice to look at, especially if you're going a long way. It's just something visual to distract you between jumps. Oh, and there's 500,000 skin bounties from the drones we killed. Okay, there's nobody here, so here we go again. There'll be 3 waves of small ships, launch our drones, and then the big guy. So we have 2 frigates, a destroyer and a cruiser. We will approach them because we want to get as close to the final swarm as possible, and they'll be spawning around there. One missile into him. So drones will finish him off, and 2 into him. Okay, and that's it. So now we're going to orbit 2,500 with our engines on. Look, we have company. and he's an Aguilar, so he is going to way out DPS us. And is he going to fly away? No, I don't think he is. And he is way going to out DPS us. Yeah, he's even locked onto it faster. It's our wreck though. So I mean, I shouldn't have a suspect flag for that. Nice. Well, there you go. Out DPS to Gila somehow. And yeah, so this fit actually works a little bit better than I expected it to, because I expected that Gila to melt that Overmind really very quickly, but I guess our missiles, once they're shielded down, were just punching straight through him, so we did more damage. So yeah, and we just got another accelerator out of that, which is lovely. So we'll head to Tav.
Warp drive active.
Right. Now we're caught at a bit of an awkward time to reload, although hopefully we should have enough to kill these because there's only one cruiser. As you can see, it's taking me almost more time to reload the missile tubes than it is to kill a wave, especially here because I've only got 2 frigates, a destroyer and a cruiser. So we'll engage the cruiser, take about 5 volleys. Okay, no, only 4. So take 1 or 2. 2. Throw 1 at him. Tell the drones to finish him off because I don't want to waste a missile on that, and finish him off with 2 missiles. There we go. Okay, so now the final wave is going to come in. We've got 10 missiles in the tube. Get to approach him straight away. Lock him up as soon as possible. Fire the missiles as soon as they're locked. And here we go. He's down. Oh, and yeah. So we'll just get in there. Can't be bothered with this.
Warp drive active.
Right, so we're going to go to Amar, sell these accelerators. Okay, so here we are in Amar after running the rogue drone sites for approximately half an hour, and we'll have a look at the booty we've got. So we have a drone tactical limb, which is a junk item. It's not really worth anything, I don't believe. No, 40,000 disc. I'd keep that as a novelty item probably. And we have 4 skins, 2 panther skins. That's quite interesting. And yeah, that's the Black Ops skin. It's a nice green colour actually. I quite like that, but I don't believe I'm ever going to use it. And these are worth 5 million ISK. They're not worth a huge amount of money. Some of the skins are worth quite a lot, but these ones are 1.7 million and 100,000. Yeah, so the skins are basically useless. PLEX, on the other hand, PLEX is quite expensive because if you get 100 PLEX together, you can redeem them to have a month's worth of game time. So yeah, these are worth basically 2 million a pop. Or you could sell them for 3 million on the open market and see if you could get any more money out of it. But to be fair, since they're buying them for 2.9 million, it's probably worth just selling these on the open market. It's also a lot cheaper than I thought it used to be. Maybe you need 1,000 PLEX to redeem items. Either way, it's quite a nice little drop to get. But the meat and bones of our money are going to be these Rogue Swarm accelerators. So these things will basically increase your training time. They'll increase your training speed. Bear in mind that they will expire on the 30th of June, so you have to either use them or sell them by then. So the quicker you get these to market, the better. But these are worth, people are buying them for 13 million ISK and selling them for 15. So those by themselves have almost doubled the input that we put into the Caracal, and we've been for about half an hour. If you had more time, you could make a fairly decent amount of money running these sites. I'd recommend you run them in off-peak times so there's less competition, but it's a fun little diversion and it's a great way for alphas to make some money. But if you'd like to know more about Eve, just write a comment in the box below or send me a message and I'll be happy to answer, and I might be back with future videos on the game. But in the meantime, I hope you have fun with this rogue drone event. I hope you find some nice skins that you'd like to put on your ship, and above all, fly safe.